Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Beyond the Headlines. The battle for 2027 is already taking shape. The APC is asking Nigerians for another mandate at a time where many say they're grappling with high cost of living. Within the party itself, there are questions over contentious primaries, protests by aggrieved aspirants who say they won, but their names were substituted amidst debate about internal democracy. In the southeast, the APC has expanded politically and now has 3 governors. But does that reflect a real shift in public support or just a wave of elite defections from a region that overwhelmingly backed Peter Obi in 2023? We'll also examine the economy, security, the push for state police, the Court of Appeals ruling on INEC's powers ahead of 2027, and of course the Osun governorship election. More or less the future of the Tinubu-Shettima ticket. I'm joined on the show today by the Deputy National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Deputy National Chairman South of the APC, Dr. Ben Nwoye. Dr. Nwoye, welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you for having me.
Let's begin with your constituency. You know, the APC now has 3 governors in the southeast. But in the last election, Peter Obi did dominate the region, winning with more than 90% of the votes across the 5 states. Do you think anything has really changed? Because what we hear the opposition say is that your party is attracting political elites, but not the electorate.
A lot has changed since 2023. First, in 2023, the obedient movement came almost like a surprise and a shock. People were not prepared to undertake what was happening. A lot of misinformation we had, disseminated, and people consumed falsehood. And based on that, they followed. There was also religious pact, where even the sign of the Labour Party was linked to the baby Jesus, Mary, and the father Joseph. So there was a lot of things, again, powered by misinformation. That has changed. When you look at what is happening with the Renewed Hope agenda, people are beginning to see the effect of the government of APC in the Southeast. And that has led to the attraction of people, not just the elite, but the little children who are now going to school. If you go down to Enugu, you go down to Abia State, the Smash School, going up in Ebonyi State, the primary healthcare or the secondary healthcare built in different nooks and crannies of Southeast. The Enugu-Onitsha Expressway that improved the life of the people and reduced accident and death and loss of lives and property. These are not elitist projects. Then you go down from Port Harcourt to Enugu. You don't have to switch from one road to the other. You don't have to go to Echie like we used to do before, from Port Harcourt to Echie to Wirenta. Now you can go straight across Aba, Umuahia, Okigwe, then Enugu. So these are real things being done by the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And this is what is attracting the real people, the grassroots in Enugu. Then think about what just happened in Enugu State, for example. We had a by-election. And the by-election, for the first time, we've never won before. When I mean we, APC. APC won a Senate seat, Enugu North Senatorial District, massively. And I think it's over 163,000 votes. That's a massive defeat. The closest party or candidate that came close was a 9,299 votes. It's not the least voting. I was there. I went through different wards. I went through all the 6 local government and monitored, see our people. We mobilized. So we are ready in the Southeast. Yes, we have 3 governors now. When we did a registration drive, we have, literally speaking, millions of new members of APC in the Southeast. We didn't have that before. And these are, ordinary people joining the party because they want to participate.
Dr. Nwoye, let's talk about internal party politics itself. And I'm taking you back to April after your Arise TV interview. The APC Southeast leadership publicly accused you of speaking outside your constitutional role. They said only the national vice chairman for the Southeast is empowered to speak for the zone, and described some of your comments as divisive and even questioned your record as former Enugu APC chairman. Why did your comments provoke such a strong reaction from your own party?
It wasn't from my own party. It was from people who were sore losers. They had their candidate. They had their candidate whom they thought should have won.
We have to work on that. Dr. Nwoye is the Deputy National Chairman South for the APC, and we're digging deep into the party's preparation ahead of 2027, especially conversations in the Southeast, which we just began a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah,
Dr. Nwoye, we lost you. We lost you for a couple of minutes. Can you hear me now?
Sorry, I'm back.
All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go ahead, Dr.
So I was telling you that it was almost immediately after my election. Who you're talking about is not the party. It's my friend and my brother. You have the vice chairman Southeast, and apparently he was not very happy that I got elected to the position. He was responsible in the past for signing a document that illegally suspended me from party. And so for me coming on board and winning, and now becoming his boss at the time, it was not settled with it. So, but we are beyond that. I'm building peace around it. You are the organizing secretary. I'm building peace. We are far beyond that. We are one party. So what you're talking about, what happened in April, we are looking forward to the future. We are strengthening the party in the Southeast. So whatever I had said was within my power. I am the Deputy National Chairman, South, and I supervise him, and the constitution is there for you to look at.
It sounds like you're saying this as a healthy internal disagreement, and you're saying you're beyond that, and that it's not really, it doesn't really count now since it was in April. But there are other realities that we're also covering, especially when it comes to the leadership of the region within your party. There was a scare about a change in the leadership of the APC Governors Forum that included a suspected succession that would have favored your state's governor. We've been hearing a lot about frictions as to whether or not the leadership of the Imo State governor is recognized in Enugu. What is really happening? How does that impact the prospect of the APC in 2027?
Sorry, say it again. Say it again.
I said, what is really happening in the region, as regards the APC leadership, and how do you see that impact the party's prospect next year?
No, the party is very strong and solid in the region. If you look at Enugu State, we have one party led by Governor Peter Ndubisimba. You look at the Bonny State, one unified party led by Governor Right Honorable Francis Winfro. You go down to Imo State, you have one party led by Governor Hope, Senator Hope Uzodimma. And of course, we have in Abia, we have our leader there, who is the Deputy Speaker, the Right Honorable Ben Kalu, and of course, other leaders, surrounding them. Even Anambra State, we have leaders that are strong and making sure that we will come out stronger than ever when we come to 2027. Again, I refer you to the last election in Enugu State, the by-election. APC had never won an election in Enugu State. But we did not only win, but we won massively. It was a landslide. So to be able to mobilize well over 162,000 human beings to vote was more than what Governor Peter Ndubisimba used in winning the election for governorship in 2023. And it was far more, that number, you check the record, far more than what the entire Southeast scored for for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023. So you had a state where by 2023, APC scored for the presidential election less than 5,000 votes, about 4,772 or so votes. Okay, and at the same time, APC Goba candidate in 2023 scored less than 17,000 votes, about 16,500 plus votes. And then fast forward that 3 years later, the same APC went into election in one senatorial district and was able to score far more than 163,000 votes. The closest rival, PDP, by the way, is not the NDC. NDC scored about 3,000 votes. It's not the ADC for all the noise on the social media and all that. But APC closest rival is PDP. And
I hear you.
For now, they're the only party. Yeah,
Dr. Nwoye,
they're the only party.
Yes, I don't want us to lose sight of my question. Perhaps I should rephrase it. Does the Enugu APC submit to the regional leadership of the Imo State governor, being chairman of the Progressives Forum, and perhaps one of the oldest APC governors in that regard?
Enugu APC is not different from a national APC. Everywhere you have a governor, the governor of the state is the leader of the party. So just take that as my answer. So I'm aware of your question, but I think you want to dwell on crisis. Yeah, there's no crisis in the Southeast. You'll just get that point. And there's no crisis in Enugu State in particular. And perhaps the only state where we have APCA going through some trouble right now is Anambra State. And we are focused on peace building. We are focused on reconciliation. We are focused on mediation for the warring parties in Anambra State. So, but when you come to pose the question of who is bigger than who, no. All governors are governors of their state. There is no governor that has that goes beyond their constitutional rules or territorial integrity.
All right.
That's what you are.
Since you have accused me of dwelling on crisis, let me dwell some more and talk about how your party has received hundreds of petitions after its governorship primaries. In some states, aspirants are still protesting, by the way, claiming that those who won have been replaced. Kwara is one example where several aspirants and party leaders continue to challenge the process. About 10 of the aspirants have now formed a group, including senators, publicly rejecting the governor's leadership and saying they might even work against your party next year. Is the APC risking self-inflicted wounds ahead of 2027?
No, listen, when people engage in primaries, everyone that engage in primary believe that they are popular and they are going to win. But at the same time also, they submit themselves to the rule of the game. And the rule of the game is, number one, it's a process. Primarily, the nomination of a candidate by a political party takes a process. Now, one process, you have to buy a form. You have to go through screening. If you're screened out, you appeal. If you're screened in and someone thought you didn't do well, you shouldn't be screened in. Appeal is available. Then you go through primary. The primary election is a process. And that's why you have multiple committees. One is the primary election committee. Two is the appeal committee for the primary. So once you're done, those who are aggrieved, who don't like what went down, because the National Working Committee is not there. National Working Committee becomes the final arbiter of the outcome. So when the complaints come, and then we sit and look at the record, look at the appeal, look at the petition, we decide, as much as it may be painful, that someone paid as much as 50 million naira in buying a form, they are aware that there's going to be just one candidate, or somebody paid as much as 20 million naira in buying a form to contest. Election is not like your football that you're seeing now. But there's going to be a second.
Dr. Nwoye, you understand the pain of going through a primary process, having declared winner in a primary election, and then there was an appeal and a completely different name is announced post-primary election. How do you come clean, as a party that's, is enshrined with internal democracy in that regard?
Hey, listen, I just told you it's a process. I have been through election. I have myself contested to run for Senate, and twice I lost. and I accepted my loss. It's only in Nigeria that every candidate pretend to be popular. Every candidate pretend to be a winner. And they want courts to resolve every single election, whether it's primary election or whether it's the general election. So it's not unusual.
No, but I am actually specifically referring to candidates who emerge at the primaries and whose names were substituted, Dr. Nwoye.
You're using the wrong word, emerge. I just told you it's a process. It's a process that starts with purchase of form. Screen it. Just follow the narrative. Okay. When the candidate came in to contest, they are aware there's going to be a primary election committee. There's going to be a screening committee to judge the character, the qualification, and all that. There's going to be appeal for screening. There's also going to be appeal for primary. So if someone, whatever happened at the call it at the ward level, the state level, local government, constituency level, senatorial district level happens, you don't like the outcome, then you present your matter before a primary. The process continues, and there's an order given. Don't declare anybody candidate. There's no committee chairman or secretary that had the power to declare anybody winner because the matter is still up for review. So the matter is reviewed at the first layer, at the review level, at the state level. If someone who contested does not agree with the outcome of that review, they appeal further. And that's what you see. We have hundreds of people that contested. And we have over 700 petitions that came up. Each one of those petitions were reviewed. And upon the reviews, decisions were made based on law and facts. And so when the decisions are made based on law and fact, in line with the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria, in line with the Electoral Act, of course.
Well, we're losing the quality of audio there. We probably will have to work on that and reconnect with the APC National Chairman, National Deputy Chairman South, Dr. Nwoye, who continues to walk us through the process of party primary. It would sound like he's saying that the primary election itself is not the end to the process. That right after the voting, there's an appeal process wherein the National Working Committee or committee at the national level looks into all of the challenges that have been recorded and some of the issues raised at the primaries. The bottom line is not many of those who have been affected are quite pleased with that process as we speak. We'll be back with more right after this break. Stay with us, everyone. Dr. Nwoye, thank you for staying the course on the program. Let's quickly touch on some developments at the national level. Your party has already submitted Vice President Kashim Shettima's name as President Tinubu's running mate for the 2027 general election. Recall that in 2023, the Muslim ticket really generated quite some controversies, intense debate, especially among Christian groups and voters who felt it raised concerns about religious balance and inclusion. Do you think that controversy is over now, especially as we count down to 2027?
You know, I just told you that in 2023, a lot of misinformation floated around the country. There's no democracy on earth where the basis of qualification is based on your faith. Those who want to be religious leaders, they choose to be either, their own religious leader. The Catholics, you go to priesthood. The pattern of choosing our leader has never been on the basis of religious affiliation. Whatever my faith is does not speak to my character as a human being or my capacity to lead. And Senator Shettima and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they have both proven it. They are courageous leaders. I was on air a night after that particular date when Senator Shettima was picked as a running mate. And I made bold to speak that we cannot allow our country to continue to be divided on that line of religious sentiment, whether you are Christian or you're Muslim. The kid out there who's going to school barefooted and hungry and then sitting on the floor does not worry about who the leader is. Those whose lives have been affected now because we have better leadership, because we have a focused leadership, because they are getting the effect of the renewed hope agenda. They're not thinking about whether the president is a Muslim or a Christian. The same apply whether the vice president is a Muslim or a Christian. We want to make the debate. The debate should be on issues.
I hear you.
It should be on
Dr.
what
Nwoye,
has happened since then. Yes, sir.
But you know that the real question will be whether the APC in the past 3.5 years have been able to prove to those who hold this position that it doesn't matter the religion of those who occupy office, especially when you consider conversations sometime last year with some religious leaders even taking the matter as far as the U.S.
You know, every religion has some extremists amongst them. And extremists will do what they want to do. And some of those people you talk about, some of them are just anarchists, those who call for a country to other countries to come and take over our own dear nation. In every move, they rush over to the international organizations and other countries, forgetting that those countries are also struggling with their own democratic process or leadership process. But they think that that as long as what their own candidate did not win, something must have gone wrong. And everything has to be based on the basis of their own faith. Remember, these are the religious leaders also that go on to preach that if you don't believe in their faith, you are subhuman. Do we accept it? No. The fact still remains that the measure of this government would be on, are we better off? When you look at the infrastructure that has been developed within the last 3 years, are we better off, or are we not? Then we look at what has happened with improvement in our security, with improvement on the light generation and distribution. We look at the students who were unable to go to school, a Nigerian kid who couldn't go to school before now. But because of this renewed hope agenda, because of the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the finance is not a reason. You can borrow 100% of the cost of your tuition paid for, okay, and no interest until you finish school. You look at the kids that are now receiving at least 1 meal per day, who could have been in many instances going to school hungry. They're not thinking whether it's Muslim ticket, or whether the person is even an atheist. Does it matter? There are non-believers who do better than those people of faith. What matters is the type of governance we are receiving. A governance that is proactive, a governance that is people-friendly, that is directed, that is organized to push this country forward, whereby we have many states building on children. For example, Enugu State spending over 33% of its annual budget on building human capacity, over 50% of its budget, putting it on social improvement. That is the knowledge-based economy, knowledge-based system, where they're putting more money in school. The same thing is applying at the federal level.
I hear you, Dr. Nwoye. We have completely run out of time, and I know that you have a lot to say. You wouldn't stop when it comes to selling your party. But I agree with you to the extent that ultimately voters will ask one simple question next year: has APC made my life better? We probably can answer that on TV. We're going to see that answer at the polls. Deputy National Chairman South of the APC, Dr. Ben Nwoye, thank you so much for your insight on the show today.
Thank you, and God bless you.
That's our show today, everyone. Remember, you can watch it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Okutoye.